It's weird that nobody mentioned soy in Brazil in a while. Maybe we killed it.
Vegetables in my life, actually.
That's really sad, and I'm really like, bro.
Yeah, like I hated vegetables from my childhood. Even though my country, Bangladesh, here we all people eat like vegetables, but I hate
Well,
vegetables so much. I
maybe
don't know
you had
why.
a really bad experience with vegetables, which could be the case, and sometimes many people do.
Because it's like not really tasty though.
That's the issue, Cole. That's the issue. It is really tasty if you know how to work with it. Because, like, imagine if I went to a shop, bought frozen vegetables, and throw it in the microwave and said, "Eat this," you'd be like, "Bro, what the fuck is that?" You know? So it's about like knowing what to do with certain vegetables, and the more you learn,
I think if you just eat vegetables, you are soft. You go in the way to be soft.
Am I soft? Am I soft?
You don't have the body that I want, man.
Bro,
if you have the body that I want, man, I'm gonna become vegan.
Actually, for real, how tall are you?
186 centimeters.
186. Okay. So you like ate vegetables from your childhood, right? You never ate meat.
Well, I did eat meat. I did.
But you just, hate to eat meat, right?
No, I don't hate eating meat. You know what I hate?
What?
I hate that animals have to be abused and killed for something I don't need. Like, if you could create meat without abusing animals, I have no issues with eating it. But right now, we have to abuse animals to get meat. And I think that's wrong.
Yeah, it's a big misunderstanding around why vegans are vegan, right? It's just like people assume that it's like a personal preference or something like that. And it's not. I prefer to eat meat. I like meat. I prefer to eat animal products. I grew up on eating raw eggs, right? So my preferences are set very well. I just have this like moral aversion to it, so I don't participate in it. But if you put a magically spawned steak in front of me that I know no animal suffered for, I'm gonna eat that shit. It's fine. I hope that's a bit clearer?
Do you know why I think people need to eat animals? Because sometimes it imbalance in ecosystems. If you see that in nature, every species have a role in maintaining ecological balance,
Oh, I know the answer for this.
Jordan Peterson talk about fixing depression by eating meat.
Without going into people who are crazy online.
Felix, sorry, 1 second. Rosa, there is a really bad sound coming through your mic. If you don't mind muting when you're not talking or something, because it's really annoying. Sorry. Sure. Thank you. Yeah, go on,
just
Felix.
Quick one. It's sinister. We'd almost destroyed the entire environment. Well, a lot of the environment, just because people want to eat meat.
Yeah.
So right now, there is nothing environmentally friendly about destroying the environment because someone wants yummy in my tummy, right?
Yummy in my tummy.
No one can afford to eat meat
yummy
today.
Meatballs. Yummy meatballs.
Okay, meatballs. Sure. So sorry, what was that?
Okay.
So I'm sharing my screen. So my screen shows... this is, and I can put it up. This is a report on what happens in the rainforest in Brazil, right? So it's the entire world's lungs are being cut down for livestock to graze there and to grow soy for livestock, right? So it's incredibly environmentally degrading to eat animal products, right? Also, if you look at a diet, diet for carbon footprint reduction, right? You can see here, let me try to make it larger a little bit. So the top contributors, the top wasters of the top emitters of greenhouse gases on every single one of those sections, the top ones are animal products. And like once in a while, here is like chocolate and coffee that are like outliers that are actually plant-based. But the way you interact with chocolate and coffee is not the way you interact with like meat or cheese, right? You don't eat, this is per kilogram of food, I think. You don't eat a kilogram of chocolate every day or every week even, right? But you eat like a kilogram of beef sometimes every week. And like in case of coffee, you drink maybe, in my case, it's like 100 grams a month, right? And it has like a large environmental footprint, but I eat very little of it, right? All this other stuff, all the other stuff here, the larger contributors to degradation of the environment are animal products. So when people make environmental claims, I'm just not sure where you guys are coming from. Please tell me where you got your information.
Actually, I got a question to the Phallic 01.
Hi.
So, you think that abusing animals is bad, right?
Well, it is. It is bad.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. It is.
For the plants. I also feel bad for the plants. You know, plants also have life, you know?
Okay. So you feel bad for
Yeah.
the plants, right?
Yeah, so...
So you know
it's
that when you eat, meat, you kill more plants, right?
I kill more plants, how?
Because the animals have to eat something.
Animals
Cow,
have to eat
right?
something.
Let's say we have a cow. Cow eats 20 kilograms of food every single day, and then later you kill the cow. So not only do you also kill not only do you kill the animal, but you also kill all of the grass that the animal ate. So by you eating the animal, you're doing it worse than a vegan, if you care about plants.
Yeah, I mean, like, animals eat crops, animals eat grass. If you care about grass lives, if grass lives matter to you, then you should go vegan. It's a point for veganism. So I don't, or at least for a plant-based dieting, right? If you're like, oh, I don't care about animal abuse, well, you should at least be a plant-based dieter then, if you like don't mind abusing animals. But for some reason care for plants.
Crazy.
I really want to like tackle the epistemology, your epistemology core as well. Like, where did you get the idea that plant lives matter, like that plants can feel, experience life and stuff like that, that plants can be abused? Where did you get that information? What's up, Val?
Hi, Val. Oh shit, I found the connection. Oh, I'm doing some work, by the way, so I'm just gonna be making noises in the background.
Yeah. Love your work noises.
Any other questions? These are some good questions, by the way. And also we can just check the side channel.
Rosa says, I think for muscle building or muscle growth, animal meat is actually better than plant-based protein due to its all 9 essential amino acids making complete protein. Well, Rosa, if you look at my screen again, sorry, this is a commonly asked question or commonly made claim that I can debug really, really easily.
So before you do that, I
Yeah.
would actually like to clarify the goalpost. Rosa, are you there?
Yeah, you could...
Because before we present anything, it's really important to set up the goalpost. Because like, what would it take for us to convince or to at least consider other evidence? What would it take us for you to maybe change your mind a little bit to a different direction?
Yeah, I guess good question.
Yeah, because if we don't set up this goalpost, I don't think it's actually worth going like through. I mean, we can post studies, right? But we definitely have to set up like your epistemic standard, or like, in other words, how do you get your knowledge from? This is very important, because otherwise I think it's just a waste of energy to just send links. And I mean, you can do it post, but
I would
yeah.
even like engage with a hypothetical. Let's say we cannot find one amino acid, like in let's say we have soy, and let's say there's one amino acid that's missing from the protein. Is that a good reason to, like, you know, breed and abuse individuals? No. You can just go somewhere else. You can just eat something else, or mix things together.
Yeah, so Rosa, let us know if you are willing to listen and maybe change your mind, right? That's the question. That's the big question. Are you willing to change your mind? Core is not willing to change their mind, right? So we probably shouldn't talk to Core. If somebody can't change their mind, well, they're basically saying they're a zealot. So no matter what convincing evidence we present to them, they're not going to change their mind.
Why does zealot sound like a slur?
It's a bad thing to be a zealot. It's not a slur, though, right?
It sounds like it.
I know.
The way you say, you are a zealot.
I mean, I'm just saying how things are. Sometimes people need to hear that them being completely immalleable, like completely unable to change their mind, is not a good thing, right? When you're presented with evidence opposite of your even deeply held belief, you should change your mind. You should be able to do that. And Core is not willing. So what does that say about you, my friend? You haven't answered my question as well, Core. How do you reach the position of caring about plants? Like,
Because, you know, it's the equality. You know, if you care about the animals, then you have to care about the plants. So don't eat anything, just die.
yeah, well, that's a bit of a weird claim, because, well, if you care about humans, you should care about rocks as much, right? Rocks are also
Post.
Yeah.
That's not like.
Guys,
Not,
hello, guys.
Not talk about veganism. We're mostly care like.
Even though plants do more than the animals to us. Plants gives us oxygen. They save us all the time. So why wouldn't they put that in the plants actually?
You're talking to vegans who are in favor of not the least amount of sentient exploration, right? But if you personally care about suffering of plants, why don't you just eat plants, because you're gonna cause the least amount of suffering? Cole, if I provide to you right now evidence that eating animals is worse for the environment, are you gonna stop eating them?
Yeah, so also, Rosa, you said something in the side chat.
Val, just real quick.
Yeah, Val.
Cole, would you stop eating animals if animals cause a lot of environmental damage? Yes or no?
What you say?
Would you stop eating animals if animals?
It depends. It depends. You show me. It depends on the thing.
Well, it's a yes or no question. If animals are really bad for the environment and they cause a lot of plant killing, would you stop eating plants? Yes or no?
It actually depends on the situations.
But it depends on. Wait. Depends on.
For me, I would prefer to eat both plant-based and meat products, because what is the shape of our teeth.
Hey, hold on! Stop filibustering, Sinister. You coming into a conversation that you don't know what it's about.
Wait, Sinister. When I ask Cole, can you answer this question? Is your name Core? Is your name Core Sinister? It's not, right? So when I ask Core a question, you don't have to just jump in and save his ass. So again, Core, it's a yes or no question. If animals cause a lot of environmental damage, including plant killing, which you really don't like, would you stop eating animals?
No, actually, cause
Okay, so you
no.
don't care about plant killing. Cool.
Yeah,
That's all.
this
Cool.
is very important. Always set the goalpost. Very important, because most people are unwilling to change, or they have very sorry for the word, but their epistemics are just confused. That's it. Always set
like-
the goalpost.
Even the low things, you are actually killing something. You know, if something happening bad, you're just killing something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but you okay? Before you go, yeah, I can address this. Next to the goalpost, you also have to understand what values you are attacking, right? What do you think we vegans, what we believe? Because if you believe that vegans always care about total minimization of all harms, no matter the cost, you are wrong, right? So vegans don't have the opinion that you can eliminate all suffering by whatever means possible. That's not our position, right? So this is like a utilitarian idea, but we don't have to have this idea. So what do you think are you attacking right now? What do you think we believe as vegans? Can you answer?
Core is left. Yeah, Rosa is
Yeah.
left as well. Well, oh
Yeah.
well. Right, Sinister, we can talk to you now that we finished those conversations.
Yeah, for me, I think I would prefer to eat like plant-based product and eat meat because of, what is the shape of our teeth. So if God created us like that, the human teeth are built to eat both plant and animals, and you know that our sharp point was if you want to cut like fruits or meat, and there are other sort of teeth that you can eat plant-based products. So as our teeth is make that you can eat both things, so why don't you?
Yeah.
You should.
So, Sinister, I really want to answer this question, but first I want to clarify. What do you think is going to happen if you're not going to eat animal products and just eat plants? What is going to happen to your teeth?
Not gonna happen anything,
Yeah.
but I think as
So
yeah,
no
but
consequences?
if you see the cow's teeth, okay, the cow god, the domestic animal, their teeth is like flat and they eat
That's all
the
I'm
product
asking. And I
raw.
understood
And
you.
if you're talking about
Sinister,
and
Sinister.
the animals,
There is no need. There is no need for this. There is no need to extrapolate it. I heard this argument literally 1,000 times. I'm just asking: if you only eat plants, is anything sinister gonna happen to your teeth? And the answer is no. Right? No consequences to your teeth, to your anatomy. If you eat just the one thing, just the plants, and not both plants and animal products. Yes.
I don't think that if I don't eat animal, then maybe I got some problems about my health and I can't get my protein, my nutritions properly.
Sorry, you think you can get your nutrition from plants? Yes?
Not to much extent.
I'm not saying you think you can't. What is going to happen to you if you go on a plant-based diet? What do you think is going to happen?
I think
Could
I
be.
can't get. Okay.
Like, I'm not healthy. What?
But is this like something that you intuit, or is it something backed by science? Again, I go to the epistemology of like basically how do you got your knowledge from? Is this based on intuition, or like because you're biologically apparently quote unquote like designed to eat both and therefore you need both? Like what's your ideology behind that belief?
So Sinister, do you think you can be healthy on the vegan diet?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
need
So-
meat.
Oh, what do
Because
you need
I-
meat for? Yeah.
Because if I need to enough healthy for my health, because I had to go to gym, and I don't think so by only eating vegans products or vegetables I can
Yeah.
fulfill my
And
what
how
I
did
need.
you reach this conclusion?
I think people should eat
No, no, no,
meat
no, no.
and
How did you reach this conclusion? What made you so sure that if you eat a plant-based diet, you can't build muscle on it?
because animals are full rich of proteins, nutritions. But on the other hand, if you're talking about the vegetables, it may be not enough
Yeah, how
compared to
did
the
you
animals.
reach that conclusion? What made you
Wait.
think this?
What is your evidence for that?
Yeah.
Can you give us a comparison between like an animal product and like a plant product?
Bro, I think it's your choice. You don't want to eat meat.
No,
but
no, no, no,
yeah,
no.
some people,
Sinister,
just answer the
stop,
question.
stop.
I
How
feel
did
like
you reach this conclusion? How did you get to think what you think? Did you read
I don't-
studies? Did you read
YouTube
like an
video.
RCT where they compared like people
Yeah,
on a plant-based diet with the
I
people on
got-
a meat-based diet?
wait, bro. If I think for me, in my opinion, when I usually eat just vegetable product for a week, for a month, I'm not fit enough, and I'm
you
feeling
think-
weak. I'm feeling weak. This is me. I practically got this evidence.
How did
Wait.
you reach this conclusion? How did you get to this conclusion?
I don't need to get any sort of conclusion, any sort of research, but I think people, because I'm already experienced that.
Sorry, you
Wait,
have
but
the...
okay,
Yeah, go on, Bell.
yeah, so, okay. So let me ask you firstly the first question. Have you ever been on an exclusive plant-based diet where you eliminated all meat? Have you actually tried this before?
You're
Yeah.
talking about me? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
my interlocutor. You're my conversation partner. Yeah. So have you ever been on a vegan diet or like a plant-based
Yeah.
diet?
Yeah,
Please say
I
yes
have.
or no. Just yes or
yeah,
yes
yeah,
or no.
I have.
Please,
Yeah,
yes,
I have.
yes or no.
I tried to eat vegetables product because of I've seen I have a friend who actually preferred to eat vegetables. So I think yeah, maybe I can try. But when after a week that I can't able to make,
Okay.
I feel weak. I'm feeling weak. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So so you during that period you ate no meat. Is that correct?
Sorry.
During that week, did you eat
Yeah.
any meat?
No.
Okay. What were your protein sources?
Nothing. I'm just trying to think that people are just trying to vegetables. So I'm just want to try and just copy them.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Dude, can
You
you
didn't...
just answer my question?
He
Now,
didn't.
why
He
are
said
you
nothing.
refusing to answer my question?
Val, he
Yeah,
said
well,
nothing.
Here we go. Yeah, that is obviously so. How is this a problem of plants if you don't eat nothing?
Bro, I think for me, in my common sense, if you don't meet animals, the animals will surpass a lot. There are thousands of animals in there, and you
Just jumping.
how can you
Dude,
how
you're
can you
jumping.
just
Yeah,
if
this
you
is a
want to
separate
if you want,
argument. Dude, you're just jumping around. Let's stick to one point, please. It's unbearable. Like you just said, what did you mean? Did you literally eat nothing, or what did you eat during that week? We have to know because we need to know your methods. How did you do your experiment based during that week? It's very important to look. How did you do your experiment? Because every experiment, even in science, has its limitations. And we have to look what are the criticisms of your experiment, right? Which is why I'm asking you, what were your protein sources? What did you do during this time? It's very important. Can you now answer my question?
I got you. You just want me to. I'm just trying to say what did I eat, right?
Yes, I would like to know roughly. You don't have to be specific, but give me like a good idea what you ate during that time. Yes, please.
All sort of vegetables like potatoes, tomatoes, carrot,
What?
cucumber,
Okay.
beetroot,
So you
spinach.
didn't eat
You're-
any plant protein? None? Or like very little, right? Because even a cucumber has some protein, but it's not
Yeah,
it's not enough protein. You basically replaced high protein stuff with low protein
Yeah.
stuff, and you're like, but my body didn't feel right. Yeah, no shit. You ate
Yeah.
no protein.
Yeah, do you know what we are trying to tell you right now is basically when you go from an animal diet that has like milk, whatever, milk, meat, whatever, you have to know what you replace it with, right? If you cut out meat, you need to have a good replacement. Some people just say, well, what do you eat instead? Broccoli? Yeah, well, no, broccoli is not a good replacement for meat. You need to have a better replacement, which is why I'm asking you. And if you tell me beetroot, carrots, potatoes, these are not good replacements. You need to have like lentils, beans, tofu, tempeh, etc., etc. These are good replacements,
So what are the
right?
replacements? What are the replacements?
I literally just told you tofu, lentils, beans, chickpeas, seitan, tempeh, textured vegetable protein. You can even supplement with protein powder, like yogurt, soy yogurt, whatever. There are many options, right?
What
But
sort
you
of
can't
supplements? Are you talking about the artificial supplements?
ignore it. You don't have to take it. I literally gave you 20. This is like disingenuous of you. I gave you literally natural sources and you just picked up and hyper focus on the supplement part. I literally gave you tempeh, tofu, TVP, seitan, whatever. Literally. Peas, chickpeas, legumes, beans. Right? These are all decent to very good protein sources. Why did you not eat these products?
Look, it's
I
okay
got your
to say.
point. I got your point that if I want to eat high protein, then I should go to prefer the high vegetables like
Definitionally.
which
Definitionally, yes. If you want to have higher protein, yes, you have to eat foods with higher protein. But even even ignoring all of this, right? I mean, that's one issue. How do we even reach to the conclusion that it was a protein issue to begin with? I mean, that's also something we have to settle, right? But if I accept it was a protein issue, you have to know what foods you have to get now once you eliminated animal product, right? I'm a fucking athlete, and you have to know what kind of foods you're replacing with. Right? If I replace an egg, for instance, I will choose tofu. I'm not going to choose spinach. That's not going to be like a good replacement, for instance. You know, if you,
yeah, I
for instance,
understand you, but if
I
I
will
get
make
if
it
I
very
get all
simple.
the things, if I have to choose so many type of vegetables. So if I need to
No,
get
that's not
fat,
true.
if I need to proteins, I have to get omega-13 fatty acids, then I have to choose
No.
so many
Yeah,
vegetables. But
actually, let me be very.
when I
Yeah,
just
yeah, it's
eat
okay.
meat, I
It's
can
okay.
get all the things at
No,
once.
no, hold on. You don't want actually your I think this is like a category error, I believe, because you don't want to get your fat from animal. You don't want to have that. Actually, you want to choose more foods from plants to actually get the good fats and not the bad fats, right? By the way, there are many things inside of meat which you actually don't want.
Yeah.
You don't want to have like this mega bundle of things if it also contains shitty things, right? It makes no sense. You don't want to have the saturated fat. You don't want to.
Can I also address something?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Even if it was difficult to get vitamins on a vegan diet, you can take a supplement, right? But here's something really important. This is something really, really important. Supplements are better for the individual, especially the animal, because when you take a supplement, an animal doesn't go into a gas chamber. Animal doesn't get abused. Animal doesn't have their throat slit. Animals are not, fucked up.
Yeah.
That's way better for the animal.
Animals do get abused. Animals do.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, but taking a supplement instead of buying meat is better for the animal. But
Yeah.
just in general.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mr. Felek, is that your name?
Hi.
Hi. By the way, this person called Val, yesterday banned Baddie, if you know her,
Don't know.
because we were like having, yeah, because we had like a talk,
Look,
a
it's
debate in
between
here.
you and Val. I probably wasn't in the VC. If you want to talk to them about it, you can. I wasn't there. I don't know.
No, you can. If you
Why are you
can ban
upset?
the
The ban will be lifted anyways in a few hours. Why are you
No,
so upset?
because we were having a like a real debate, a good one.
Yes, so what?
But
It's the past. The ban will be lifted in a few hours anyways. What is the
no,
issue?
no, the person can join this VC, the vegan one.
They can
What?
have a few more hours. Just give them. Jesus.
Yeah.
Cat's name.
It's past 24 hours. Like the ban is erased, but
No, it's
they
not.
still can join the VC.
It will pass in a few hours.
Anyway, can we stick to saving animals, please? Not saving people
Yeah.
like being upset.
Like, listen, I had my reasons yesterday. Maybe the ban was completely justified, but I had my reasons, and I actually gave justifications in the chat.
What was your reasons for? Like it's a
No, I'm not
debate.
gonna. I wrote it down in the chat. The people who are responding, who are going over this, they can read my I gave 2 lines of justification, and it's none of your business.
Yeah, but
Really. If
that's
you are,
no,
listen,
no, no,
if you
no.
are in,
Listen,
shut the fuck up.
listen. Let me tell you this.
Shut the fuck up.
Listen,
If you are
Alright.
interested,
stop being disrespectful. You
Okay,
No.
I'm gonna mute him. This is gonna be a talk about veganism. If you have issues,
Yeah.
talk to the mods, talk to whoever. If you're gonna keep addressing this,
Holy shit.
if you want to keep addressing this, I'll have to literally kick you for 24 hours. This is nothing related to the conversation at all. This is just you being upset. Okay, could we just move
Yeah.
away?
Damn, I always get so triggered. Shit. I have to get my.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about animals.
Hello.
Also,
Sorry
Sinister,
guys.
we can
Sorry guys for like background noise.
we can hear your family. That's fine now.
Ah, fuck. Okay, who else wants to talk?
Connie, really? Does anyone have any questions on vegan stuff?
Yeah, I'll have a chat.
Cool. So our position. Actually, let me ask you this: is animal abuse ever justified?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Probably not. No.
Okay. There you go. That's a starting point. Val or Post?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it in another way. Do you think it is ever justified to kill an animal? Very neutral question, actually, and then I will qualify further.
That's what I asked them. Val, you.
Well,
Ah.
no. Yeah. Well, let's go there first. Do you think it's justified to kill an animal?
Depends on the situation.
That's a good
Right.
answer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's suppose you have the option to survive and to be healthy without needing to kill the animal.
Well, it depends. Again, it depends on the situation. Like if you're in a life or death situation, if you're getting attacked by a grizzly, then
No.
I think violence is justified.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm talking right now. Like if you live in a city, let's say, or in a village, whatever, and you have access to, like, to choose your fruits from, basically.
Probably not. No.
Why do you think it is not? Why do you think it's impermissible?
Well, I guess that vegans, you're all survive and thrive. I guess.
Mhm.
And
Do you think there is? Do you think there is an ethical way to kill an animal in that situation? In that situation.
Not ethical. I think there's more humane ways of doing it.
But
of
ultimately,
killing animals.
But ultimately, killing a life or ending a life against someone's will, or if they have like no interest in being killed prematurely, that is obviously unethical, perhaps, right? I mean, or very questionable, to say the least.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's unethical. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically the vegan position for you. Yeah,
So
straightforward.
that should be there is like a consequence for people who kill animals to eat or what?
Well,
Come again?
I'll make it super easy for you. Do you think there should be any consequence with people eating their own dogs at home? If they feel like they want to eat some dog meat, do you think like there should be any consequences?
To eating dog meat.
Well, for the person who brought
Oh,
up
no.
Will. Yeah. Because if you say yes, there's
Oh,
an issue with that, then it just depends like where do you draw the line. But anyway, let's going back to Val's point. Sorry. Val?
Yeah, so that's basically the vegan position for you. But then someone else asked me a question, or has it been addressed already?
For the dog
So,
life,
sorry.
yeah, you spoke about the dogs like do you mean like eating dogs is like the same as eating other animals? It's up to you. I mean, if you eat dogs,
But do you think
up
it
to you,
should
but
be?
It's
Do you
it's
think
not
it
up
should?
to me.
Hold on. Do you think, Karim? Do you think it should be legal for people to eat dogs?
it's up to them. I don't have any opinion about it.
Hold on, Karim. If you have a button where you can press and make eating dogs illegal, would you press it?
Wait. No.
Ooh,
There you go. There you
Shit.
go.
wow.
It's so when we are asking whether because when you're saying it's up to you, we are always asking about your morality. Are you okay with it? Not about others. Would you do it, or would you support it?
No, I wouldn't.
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
But I will support eating like others, like that eat grass, not meat.
But this is what Val was talking to Horty about. So if you just listen, all of us would just listen to Val and the other person talking for now, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, go
So the context that we always have to highlight is the context in which you are right now. I try to resist certain circumstances in which you are in a survival situation, because these might be edge cases and maybe it might be permissible to maybe kill someone, and even including a human, right? I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying, well, it's just what it is, unfortunately. But if you have the option to go to the nearest supermarket of your convenience and to choose between dairy milk and plant milk, just move 2 meters further and just grab the plant milk, for instance, or grab the banana, potato, oranges, whatever. Right? If you have that convenience and that option, right,
But
then you should do that, I think.
okay, I
Because-
get it.
What
Yeah, and now
what about if you just don't want to though?
I get your point
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
killing, but the milk. I mean, what does milk has to do with harming animals? I mean,
we'll get to
They-
it.
they-
But
they
let-
will keep-
let-
Yeah, we will. We
We'll
will
get
get to it. Just try to keep your thought in your mind, and we will. I think Pelican or Post can also address it.
you can also
So
ideally just type in the channel and we will explain.
yeah, now someone else actually said, but what if you don't want? Can you give me like one or two
Yeah, exactly.
reasons
What if
why?
you just What
Yeah,
if you
right,
just don't
and-
want
and-
to? Like,
Yeah, exactly, and that is what we would call in a debate like possible justifications. So, what would one of your justifications or your defenses be not to choose otherwise? So, in other words, why
just
would you
know,
choose
I
to?
just don't.
Good.
I just don't want to. I prefer drinking dairy milk, and I prefer drinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't tell me a lot. Now, I
It's a-
could
it's a-
maybe. I could maybe speculate why you would choose, maybe due to habit, convenience, or I mean, habits are usually based on prior pleasures. You know, like you are familiar with the taste. Maybe it's pleasure, convenience, accessibility. We can go all.
Probably a bit of everything.
Yeah. But and I would argue, to make it very brief, but we can go more in depth into them. I think none of them actually justify what we do to the animals. None of them. Not even close.
I would agree with that. It's not justifiable, but I think people will do what they want, and
Yep.
they don't really think about the consequences, or the
Yeah, but
the animal on the other end of it.
Yeah, now you're just describing me a matter of fact, how people are or how humans tend to behave, but we're talking about whether they should change on a moral level, right? Because humans arguably do a lot of good and bad things, but that doesn't tell us much. Or they actually do also a lot of shitty things, but we shouldn't stop there. We should actually give maybe some prescriptions how it can be better in the future, right? Yeah, just
so
because something
is that what this Discord's about? Like, because it says vegans are better. Like, you're better at what? Like, you're a better human, or like you're better?
No.
So,
let's not
well,
go
if I
there.
can, let me address it. So I would say that me as a vegan am better than when I was not vegan. That's my claim for it. So I think I contribute to less victims being created, and therefore morally, I think I'm on a better path than when I was not vegan.
Yeah. A world in which an individual does not exploit or support the exploitation of animals anymore is probably a better world in which that individual still exploits animals for some trivial reasons. And I'm using trivial here deliberately because I set up the context in which it is not necessary purchase animal products. So it's a trivial reason in most instances. It's not something urgent. So I'm not taking the question if I'm saying trivial in this instance, because the context is specified. I'm always talking about this specific context in which you are inhabiting. Yeah, so if we have two possible worlds in which post-mortem actually exploited animals, and in the other possible world in which they did not or do not anymore, yeah, the latter is obviously the better one or the preferred one.
Yeah, it's not about claim of us being perfect or anything like that, right? We can always improve. Yeah. We can always improve our consumerism or our consumption choices. But that's a huge jump from creating the most amount of victims to the least amount of victims.
Do you think there's any harm for your diet?
Of course. Of course, but it's the least amount of harm that I can do in a diet. Of course, like crops. Yeah, go on. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh, no, sorry, because I'm horticulturist, qualified horticulturist, and so I've got a lot of experience dealing with insecticides and all that sort of stuff. So my job is to get rid of insects off street trees, and I've worked in nurseries and things like that, so I'm constantly killing insects.
Yeah.
Like, how do you combat that?
Yeah, so first of all, that's a great opportunity. Can I ask you a few questions, and then I'm gonna answer you?
Oh, of course you can. Absolutely.
So why are you killing the insects?
Well, I'm protecting the trees that I'm selling, or that I'm protection, I guess.
Is there any other way you can protect your trees other than killing the insects?
Oh.
No. So it seems like it's a necessity at this point in time, at least.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm asking, is there any other way you can protect your trees without killing the insects?
Oh, not really.
Yeah.
Because there's...
Yeah, go on.
Grasshoppers, caterpillars, mites, all that sort of stuff. You can't protect it against it.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Without using some form of chemical control.
Yeah. So that it becomes like a necessity, because if you don't kill these insects, they're basically going to eat everything in sight, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Trees, everything. Yeah. So we have to...
Yeah, so there's your answer. So there is a symmetry breaker between breeding, exploiting, and slaughtering animals for unnecessary food, for food actually that kills more insects, because we feed animals crops worldwide, right? A lot of crops. And between literally having no choice, otherwise you are not going to produce necessary food. So plants are necessary for humans to survive and thrive. Animal products are not. They're impeding survival and thriving of human beings. So I don't like it. I think, like, especially caterpillars and bees and all of those animals, I think they are sentient, so they have moral worth, and if we can in the future to avoid it, we should. But at this point in time, there is no way to grow plant food without killing those animals, and it's a necessary food to feed the earth, basically, including to feed the animals who are then slaughtered. So if we eliminated the animal agriculture industries, we would reduce the amount of insect deaths by like a lot. And I can show you some research on it if you want.
No, we talk about necessary foods. What about unnecessary foods like alcohol or coffee or something like that? Like, it's not necessary.
Yeah, I would say personally, coffee, it's a question if it's unnecessary. I wouldn't say it's unnecessary. I think it's very necessary. Like, the health outcomes on coffee are astonishing. Like, it reduces your BMI, it reduces heart disease. For me personally, I have like sleeping disorders. It just keeps me alive, basically. Sure, like if we could eliminate, again, if we could eliminate insect deaths for all foods, I would obviously prefer it. But I don't know of a food that is like, that doesn't do that. Therefore, like, just like pointing out, well, you can reduce the coffee. Oh, okay, but insects are also dying for my tomatoes. Insects are also dying for potatoes, for everything. Every food on Earth, insects, the pests, right, are being killed because otherwise we would have no food. So, like, pointing at one food in a plant... Yeah, go on.
Sorry, would you say potatoes and tomatoes are more important or more necessary than coffee or chocolate, or like vegan chocolate or anything like that?
Maybe. Like, it's like... I would claim that coffee, like, reduces the amount of calories I eat. And I only drink like 100 grams of coffee a month. So I would say it's actually like more beneficial to have coffee in your diet than not.
Can I address something?
Sure. But it's not completely not completely necessary though.
Yeah, but I would kill more insects if I didn't.
Guys.
Yeah.
The whole vegan position, it's that we don't want to violate individuals' rights to live, right?
Yeah.
And we don't care about potatoes, tomatoes, and stuff like that. Sure, there can be more environmentally friendly ways of growing that. We're currently not there. But what we really focus on, it's right now that the animals should have the right to not be exploited, especially for optional products.
Well, Felix, we were talking about insect deaths, though. We weren't talking in the environment. We were talking about insect deaths. So
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of insect deaths, I wouldn't see that as a rights violations. Because, for example, when you want to farm like tomatoes, you're not technically saying we should literally fucking kill billions of insects for those things. It's just incidental deaths.
I wouldn't call it incidental. We have a disagreement there because, farmers. Sorry, what's your name? Horticulturist is a farmer, right? So they would say it's very intentional, right? Horticulture, list.
But you know, what I'm trying to say, it's like you don't literally write down that we have to kill mass amount of like insects for those things, because it's not directly killing them. It's just a byproduct of doing that. But the meat is not a byproduct of killing the animal. It's a direct product of killing the animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also like an unintended consequence as well.
Go on, horticulturist.
Sorry, you talked about you talked about incidental deaths. Is it okay to have incidental deaths if it's for an unnecessary product though?
Well, this is going to be also addressed when it comes to cars, right? Because cars accidentally like kill humans as well, but they're not designed to kill humans. They're not made for that thing. It's just part of the product.
So I think I can address this, horticulturist. So here's our claim. There is a matter of inherency in some products that there are going to be abuse and death of animals, right? So animal products, I don't know how, except for like lab-grown meat, right? Some lab-grown meat. I don't know how you can produce a steak without abusing and slaughtering an animal. On the other hand, like producing a tomato right now, at this point in time, we're producing tomatoes by killing some insects, even by exploiting some insects. But it's not inherent. Technically speaking, you can grow a tomato without killing any insects, right? If you put the tomato plant inside of like a glass house and it's like completely locked, no insects come in there, you like shake the little thingy to like, what do you call it? Not inseminate, what is it called? Like, to make it release pollination. I did it on my porch, right? I just shook the tomato plant a little bit, and two tomatoes grew out because I'm shit at growing tomatoes. But like, there is no inherency of killing animals. It's just something that we have to do right now to produce enough food for the entire world, and in today's case, also for all the animals that we exploit and slaughter. If we stopped exploiting and slaughtering animals, we could reduce agricultural land by like 75%, and specifically cropland by like 200 million hectares. And then maybe like once we stopped monocropping, once we reduced the amount of land we need to grow the crops, maybe we can deal with it another way. Maybe we can protect the crops another way. Maybe we can innovate there. But it's not inherent to it, right? And I don't know how you're going to finagle your way out of like slaughtering a cow for a steak, unless it's like a lab grown from like a discarded cells or something like that. So pretty inherent. And we're not against lab grown meat in this channel, I think. So.
I don't know if I'd eat lab grown meat, to be honest, but.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I says I don't know if I would eat lab-grown meat if I'm honest.
What would be the problem for you?
It would just feel wrong. It would just feel wrong.
Yeah, well, you can just go vegan and remain vegan. I mean, like, it's on the moral level, lab-grown meat would be either much less or entirely not wrong on a moral level, right? Because it wouldn't even interact with an animal in any way, but like on an icky feelings, maybe like it would look a little weird or something like that. But then again, like if you were like born when the lab grown meat is already, you wouldn't think it's icky or weird. It would be just meat to you. It would like, it's pretty icky and weird to raise an animal and slaughter them at 2 years of age, pump them with like whatever antibiotics, give them supplements, give them a huge amount of world's crops, huge amount of water, and then just like slaughter them, blood everywhere, cut off their dick, cut off their testicles, all that shit. It's pretty gruesome. It's pretty gross.
And then eating the assholes, you know.
Yeah. No waste. Eat the assholes, eat the lips, eat the eyes.
Well, that's what goes into sausages. We call it in Australia here. We call it lips and assholes.
Yep.
That's sausages.
You could go just for vegan sausages instead. Like, they taste the fucking same. They give you the same indigestion in my case, and they don't contain any of that shit. You know.
So it's quite a moral stance, isn't it? Why I have no desire to be more moral though. Like, how do you why would someone want to improve on their morals? Like,
Why would someone wouldn't? This is the question.
I don't know. I'm quite happy with the life I lead, and I just don't have any desire to be more moral, I guess.
Yeah, well, morality is usually not about you. Morality is usually not about you. It's about the victims of your actions, right? So, like, I understand, like, somebody could, like, well, this has, like, no impediment on my life, so why should I care? Well, because if you were on the receiving end of somebody's actions, if, like, it's funny, but it's a weird analogy, but, like, if aliens, very sophisticated aliens, came down today and they, like, started farming humans for meat the way we farm, like, cows for meat, for instance, you wouldn't like it, right? You'd think it's atrocious because you would be on the receiving end of it.
You have an actual historical...
Well, of course, but
yeah, sorry.
But of course you'd feel, bad in being put in that position. But again, going back to the insects, you'd also feel bad being a caterpillar who's just been born and who's just sitting there chewing on some leaves, and then all of a sudden he gets sprayed, by an insecticide, and
so
he
that's
dies,
where, so that's where necessity and inherency comes in.
You can't help but wonder, like, why do insects have to die for us to be alive? Why are we more important than insects?
We're not. If we could prevent insect deaths, we would. It's just a matter of, like, necessity. It's like asking, well, why is you owning your home more important than people that want to just come in and, like, just, like, take all your shit and stuff like that? No, you'd probably defend your home from people who want to come and take your shit, right? So it's the same thing. It's not, like, only a matter of who's more important, like a hierarchy, but, like, the context of the action. Right now, there are animals on this earth that you literally can't do anything to prevent them from taking your shit, other than, like, killing them. It's incredibly unfortunate. I hate it. But right now, it's not preventable. Mostly because we also have animal agriculture. That's why I fight for this so hard. Because literally the 98% of population who eat animal products, they are making me less moral. So I'm fighting both for you guys and for myself, right? To be, like, higher on, like more moral or whatever, like to be better to the animals on this earth with whom we share it, right? So elimination of animal agriculture is like a moral imperative, both for the animals in the animal agriculture and the insects and, the small mammals that you kill for necessarily for food right now.
And also to address your point, like, why should we care about ethics, right, or about morality? Because you, in your own words, you said, you have it nice already. But the thing is, like, once you accept, like, certain, like, let's say, once you care about consciousness or sentience, or the capability to experience, like, let's say, pain and pleasure, once you accept that, at least amongst humans, the question then becomes, like, why shouldn't you extend that regard to other animals as well? Because in my opinion, ethics is obviously about, like, seeing some similarities, but it's also about compassion, about justice, about benevolence, not harming someone else. So these are principles usually that are actually shared in a lot of cultures, but sometimes they're being inconsistently applied, right? And especially against, like, justice or like impartiality, as much as it has its limitations, right? But being equal basically means, like, irrespective of your traits, right? Whether you're black, white, Asian, or an animal walking on four legs, these traits, they arguably cannot change. And just discriminating unfairly against these individuals is, in my opinion, unjustified. They couldn't have changed it earlier, and you discriminating them based on these things is, I think, not fair.
I would agree it's not fair, but I'm not going to change.
And because they can pay the consequence, and because they...
Sorry, if the aliens, the proverbial aliens, came down on Earth and started like farming the humans, your entire family, everybody would find themselves in like basically like concentration camps, waiting to die, like fattened up. What would you say to the aliens, horticulturist?
The aliens.
Yeah. What do you do? They speak English.
Is this a hypothetical type thing? Is it?
Sure. What would you say to the aliens? Would you say, yeah, go on, kill my entire family for unnecessary food? Or would you tell them, no, you should spare us?
Well, it depends. Are we going to be necessary for them? Are we...
No, not necessary.
Do they need human meat?
No, just to make it incredibly comparable to animal products today that are unnecessary for our consumption. Aliens as well, they just like the way it tastes. They like grew up on other planets eating human-like whatever meats, hypothetical. It's unnecessary for them. So they come to take your family away to a slaughterhouse, and you're like, you have two options. You say, yeah, it's fine, take my family, that's okay. Or please don't do it. Which one are you gonna say? Or something else, right?
I honestly don't think I'd have a say in that, because if these aliens are powerful enough
that's
to
not what I'm asking. I'm
start
not asking.
farming
Hold on. I'm not asking would they listen to you. I'm asking what would you want to be done? What would you want to say? Yeah.
I'd probably do. I wouldn't want to be farmed, I guess.
Yeah. So why would you not apply this same semantic to the animals? You don't have to eat them. They are slaughtered billions a year for unnecessary products. It's detrimental to humans as well, but that's like a side point. Why wouldn't you apply that? Like, why are you holding on to this? I'm not going to change.
Well, because I like my life the way it is. I've got a group of friends who we have barbecues every weekend. I've got a fishing boat. This is my life is surrounded by animal products, and I grew up in a sheep and cattle farm, and that's just how I am. Yes, and I love my life, and I feel like becoming a vegan and cancelling all of that, and I couldn't do it. To be honest, it just wouldn't. I wouldn't feel like me.
You're not cancelling things. You're just replacing things. That's all it is.
Like the question then becomes also like, well, who would suffer more? You needing to change your life a little bit, and like instead of going and like plucking fish out of the ocean and letting them suffocate, you just sit there peacefully and look at the animals like in the ocean, just look at them, and like eat a vegan sandwich and like put vegan stuff on the Barbie on the weekend. Who would suffer more? You needing to change a few habits, or the animals whom we annually slaughter billions of for unnecessary stuff?
Oh, the animals for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
So why wouldn't you eliminate that suffering of somebody else suffering much more than you when you absolutely can do it?
It's because I just don't want to. Like I love me life the way it is.
Yeah, would you accept that answer from an alien who's like, yeah, I could not slaughter your family for unnecessary stuff, but I just don't want to. I just want to continue the way I am. Would that be a good answer? Good justification for slaughtering your entire family?
Of course it wouldn't be, but again, I wouldn't ever say it. That's...
Yeah. Yeah, so because animals don't have a say in it, it's like might makes right? It's like you decide how animals live and die, and you're not willing to change because it just would be inconvenient in your life. And they have no say in it. They literally can't.
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. It would be completely inconvenient in my life. It would be completely inconvenient, and
so
how do you even explain it to family members?
Sorry?
That you've gone vegan. Like, how do you even explain it to family members and friends that you're
So you
Like,
don't.
how do you guys do
I mean,
that?
It depends. So if you find it like again, it also depends on the starting point. Like if you find it already overwhelming, you don't necessarily have to make it even harder and go like with a moral position necessarily. Buy yourself some time. If you already struggle, because it seems that and it's understandable that you, especially in the social realm, if it's already difficult with your friends, you don't necessarily have to. Especially if you come from a farm, you don't necessarily have to explain them from a moral reason, because then you might get backlash and then you make it even harder for yourself. If it is the case, maybe go for a different reason to buy yourself time, cut yourself a bit of slack, if that's the right word, and maybe later explain it to them, right? Because it seems that it's already, it might be already a struggle for you to navigate through the social domains if you were to become a vegan. So especially with family, it's even more complicated, right? So the very first thing is just.
Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
a matter of like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna use a weird like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna use it. It's just sometimes it's just time to man up and do the moral thing and not the convenient thing. It's just a matter of like rising over your inconvenience to benefit others. And I'm not just talking about the animals again, like. The animal agriculture is impeding on the flourishment of all humans on Earth, 100%. So,
yeah, and especially since you came from a background that is actually quite invested in animal use, don't put yourself even in a harder position already. If you have been persuaded by these arguments, at least to some degree, I would welcome you and invite you to do it and to give it a shot. And especially in the beginning, try to really digest the arguments, look out for new information, because again, you have been quote unquote, conditioned. What?
I'm gonna put a resource link in the side channel. Sorry.
Yeah.
What part of Australia are you from?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, Brazil.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Where were you from, bro?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Some racism, Australian racism going on. What's going on?
No, not racism. Not racism.
I'd say that about literally any city he said. It didn't matter.
Yeah. So I would
I'm actually a Kiwi.
Yeah. Obviously.
I did think so.
Now let them talk
Sorry,
for a
go
second.
Yeah. Don't put yourself again, like, because if you reckon that it will be a difficult thing for you already, especially in the social domain, maybe take a step back and come up with another reason. Maybe if it's okay, if you feel it comfortable with your friends, then maybe expose yourself that and confront yourself and tell them maybe for these reasons. If you think with family it might be more difficult, take a step back. Buy yourself time, because this is like a perception shift, right? You have been like more or less conditioned to view animals in a certain way. And now I would welcome you to maybe learn more about veganism. Maybe you will find like an activist who's quite compelling to you. That's important. And again, if you have been convinced by the arguments, or if you find them forceful, I would say also find vegan circles, not because it's like necessarily a cult or so, but to feel more connected and related. That's very important, right? Because all humans have a desire to feel somehow belong to a group, right? It doesn't have to be.
Real quick, when it comes to family members, they're gonna be like the worst kind of people that, they're gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
What about this? What about that? Just say you're trying something new. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are your families vegan, or is it just
Me,
you?
no.
Like,
No.
Just me alone.
No.
just you alone. How do you deal with that?
I don't give a fuck.
Well,
it's the right thing for me.
Yeah, it's about personal accountability. I believe that is something that I can really care about. And when it comes to doing activism, I tried on my parents. Doesn't work, so I talk to strangers online, IRL, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Ever since actually I joined Discord, I feel actually a bit more connected, because now I know. Because frankly, I mean, I know a few vegans in my area, but it's very like uncommon usually. And if you have at least like one outlet in where you can feel kind of belong to, that gives you more hope and even more conviction. Especially if you just start to become a vegan, this can be like a powerful outlet to not just be a vegan but to stay vegan. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. But yeah,
That's some good
I've been
info
vegan
there,
for
mate.
6.
Some good info.
Yeah, but I've been vegan for 6 years, and I just joined, I don't know, Discord for like 1.5 years or so, or just even 1 year to vegan Discord. So I could even quote unquote survive without like these aids. So yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, if I go vegan, can I still go fishing?
No.
No, I would ask you this: if replace fish,
unless it's seaweed, you can fish seaweed if you want to.
I would ask you like a question.
Seaweed doesn't fight back.
I would simply ask, like, would you do the same thing with dogs? Like, instead of fishing, fish, just why don't you fish dogs? Go on the high building, put a sausage down, and just fucking pull the dogs up on, on that. But you don't have to, right? And then another thing, it's like, yeah, magnet fishing. Like, bro, find a landmine. That's gonna be pretty fun.
Yeah, plus imagine that fishing is perhaps one of the cruelest things that we do as humans, because we essentially are taking them out of their environment where they can breathe and survive, and then we're asphyxiating them to death.
Oh, it's not good. I'm not gonna lie, it's not good. But have you guys ever been fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's usually just a waste of time
been
for
fishing.
me.
I like to eat fish.
But I know how it feels, like on the contrary, to the contrary when you are drowning. I mean, I've never really fully drowned, but I know how it feels to hold your breath.
I've not.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can try it out. You can maybe hold your breath for 20 seconds, and then you know how the fish must feel if they are on the surface or if they suffocate, basically. And it's probably much worse for them. I mean, because if you hold your breath, you know what the purpose is behind this exercise. But the fucking fish doesn't know anything. They're completely oblivious to that fact.
Yeah. It's like really upsetting. It's like so unnecessary. You could just go there and like take pictures instead of like dragging animals out of ocean and letting them suffocate.
Magnet fishing, you could find a landmine.
Yeah,
None of this sounds as fun as catching a fish. None of this sounds as fun as catching a shark, bro.
So
or a
now
stingray.
you're like slaughtering animals for fun. Isn't it that a little psychotic?
I eat them too.
Well, yeah, that's also fun because it's unnecessary, right?
I'm fucking getting angry over some bullshit.
Conscious, can you wait? We're having a conversation here. We can address you later. Thank you. So horticulturist, it's like the food is also fun. Just because you eat them later, it's unnecessary food. You can just eat plants instead. So it's also for fun. So you're slaughtering animals for fun. And that's like really, really psychotic, wouldn't you say? I know you don't look at it like that.
I'm eating them.
I know you don't
I
look
don't
at
look at it like that at all.
Yeah, I know, because you grew up doing all those things, right? You kind of don't...
Exactly.
You kind of don't see animalness in animals. You kind of like objectifying them. You saying, this is an object I can exploit for fun. So food, again, is also fun because you can be without it, right? And therefore, like, whatever extra animal food you're having on top of like a plant-based diet, it's just for fun. It's for taste pleasure. So you saying, well, I'm eating them as well, is not a better justification for slaughtering animals.
I have a question though, like, like I have a question for you, horticulturist. Do you remember the first time you went fishing? Because I remember the first time I went fishing, and I remember feeling pretty horrific when the animal was killing. They were struggling to breathe. I remember pretty badly that.
No, I remember it. I had a great time. Not gonna lie.
Was it a great time because of? Was it a great time because of what happened to the animals, or because of the presence because of who you were there with?
No, it was because it was I first caught my first fish, and it was awesome.
Yeah, because somebody,
awesome.
I'm guessing somebody said, well done or something, right? Like you got a little bit of a reward out of catching that fish.
Oh, absolutely. And I got to eat it, that night. Fresh fish.
Yeah, it's like a reward system, but then I don't think you would apply the same logic if it came to, as we've said before, dogs or even humans. Even if you were to be getting like a little reward for, I don't know, catching them and killing them, I don't think you would do that, right?
I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer
But not
was
for a
like,
dog, no.
Jeffrey Dahmer was like really being rewarded. If you think about it, he was like fishing in a quote unquote when he went to like gay clubs and got people to come home with him. He was very nice to those people. You're not nice to fish. You're letting them suffocate. And then he killed them and ate them. So it's like a reward system. He got to eat, right?
So you're comparing fishing to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yep.
I mean, to the victims, it is the same, is it not?
Yeah,
If you're a
yeah,
victim,
so-
if you're a victim of somebody pulling you out of your environment and killing you for something, I don't know, pleasure, optional food, whatever it is, it's the same regardless of the species that you were born in, right? Like you will feel the same, just as you will feel asphyxiating or being killed just as any other animal would, right? So to the victim,
Yeah,
it
let's
is
be
the same.
and let's be clear. When we because you mentioned the word compare, and obviously what you're probably saying is, are you equating? And we are not equating both, but we are saying in important respect, both have strong similarities. In which we have two victims, like in the Jeffrey Dahmer case, right, with his victims and the fish, both suffer, both die. But we are not saying they're both
Which
the
one's worse?
same. Well, oh yeah, you could argue, yeah, probably maybe for the human, yeah, of course, yeah. But a vegan is not committed to say which is worse or not. The vegan can say both are shitty, but one is probably much worse. Yeah, sure. But you shouldn't do shitty things anyways if it's not necessary. That's all the vegan is committed to say, really. Not anything beyond, especially if it's not necessary, right? And so you do fishing for, yeah, again, probably trivial reasons, not for survival. It's habit, culture.
Yeah, it's like
but they're both-
recreational murder, basically. It's like recreationally, you just go into the nature and you just like slaughter animals there. it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, you
No,
don't
it is
look at it.
recreation, absolutely.
It is, totally. Like, you enjoy the fish afterwards as
yeah,
well,
I agree.
right? You enjoy the body
I enjoy
afterwards.
the fishing, I enjoy the fish, I enjoy being out on the boat, I enjoy the fight of the fish.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's recreational.
can't
It's
you just
recreational
observe-
murder.
Yeah, but you can simply observe the fish or maybe look at their behavior. I mean, if they are on the surface, I don't know. Or maybe you can listen to music or just enjoy nature. You don't have to, like, fucking fish animals from their habitat. That's...
Guys, you're
Not
missing. Horticulturalist said that he enjoys watching them struggle, so he enjoys the slaughter part as
Fuck.
well. So we're just gonna have to talk to somebody else who's not a psychopath, right?
Am I a psychopath?
Yeah. Well, you talk like
Really,
one,
mate.
sweetie. Like,
Well,
what happens to?
in that scenario? Yes, you have like at least traits. Yeah, I mean, you are. I mean, I'm not gonna say you're overall a psychopath, but these are traits in that scenario that indicate, well, lack of empathy, callousness, in a sense. Yeah, I'm not gonna say you're a full blown. No, of course not. I don't know you.
If I
and
say
it's
this,
not-
if I had a leash on a dog and I made the leash a little bit more tight so he was struggling to breathe and I just like played with him and I said I enjoy, how the dog's moving around because it's struggling.
Yeah.
Would you say that's a bit psychopathic?
Slightly, I guess.
Okay, so what if I put a hook in its mouth, into its throat, and got it stuck, and I kept like pulling on it?
Yeah, that's a bit messed up.
And what if I replace the dog with a fish?
No, that's alright.
Where's the difference? Where is the trait difference? What's so special about dogs that makes it psychopathic one but not the other?
Well, you can't really put a dog in the ocean and then try to catch it, I guess.
But I'm trying to ask you, what's the morally relevant difference?
And you can.
Between a fish and a dog.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
you can catch a dog with oxygen and put the dog in water, like you catch a fish in water and put the fish outside where it can't breathe oxygen. So you can do the opposite to a dog, yes.
Oh, you can, but you wouldn't. You wouldn't put a dog in the ocean and try to catch it.
It doesn't
And
matter
hence
if
the
we
question.
could. Yeah, it doesn't really matter in this sense. Like you said, it's psychopathic to do one thing but not the other. I'm trying to ask you, what's the morally relevant difference?
There probably isn't anything. They're both. I guess they're both animals.
Mm-hmm.
They're both
Individuals, right?
What's it? Yes. Is one more sentient than the other?
No, both are very sentient. Sentience is not like a matter of degree, it's a matter of on and off switch. If you are sentient, you're sentient. If you're not, you're not. Higher consciousness is something that
What does
like
it mean?
varies.
What does it mean? Sorry, what does it mean? It's a sort of a new word. It's a new word to me. What does it mean? What does sentient mean?
Yeah, I'm sharing a screen, and if you look at the screen, I'm going to explain what sentience is. Let me know when you're looking. Yeah. Are you looking? Are you looking at my share?
Yep. I am.
Okay. So sentience arises usually from having a brain and central. So a brain is part of a central nervous system. So it's basically a brain that collects all the nerves that you have on your body, right? Collects that information, interprets it, and spits it out as like information. So like your eyes, your ears, the tips of your fingers, the ability to touch, all of those things are part of what makes you sentient. Sentience is like a basal consciousness. Once you have this feedback with the outside world, you can see something and your brain can interpret it into something else. If you put your fingers into fire, you immediately pull your hand back because your brain tells you, no, danger, don't do this. This is harming you, right? That's sentience. It's the ability to see to experience your outside world, not just see, and interpret it through your brain. What it results in is consciousness. Now, there are several degrees of consciousness, but sentience, you either have it or you don't. So plants, for instance, don't have sentience, and like all the vertebrates do, all the arthropods do, and all the cephalopods. So we are vertebrates, for instance, humans. All the mammals that we raise are vertebrates as well. I think fish are either arthropods or cephalopods, but I'm not good at that shit.
So something has got a brain.
Oh no, fish are vertebrates. It says it right here on the bottom. I'm sorry. I'm really shit at biology. I'm really terrible at it.
Yeah, it's like a long story short if it has a brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about things that don't have brains? Are they still? What about like shellfish,
yeah, so some of them
oysters and mussels and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
not.
It's very unlikely that they are sentient. We don't know everything about everything yet, but what research we do have, it's very unlikely that have sentience. They don't have a brain. They have some like nerve endings to like squiggle around outside of the shell, but it doesn't interpret into sentience. It doesn't interpret, as far as we know, right, into like an experience. I personally give them still the benefit of a doubt because animals are capable of sentience, but plants are not. So even it's pretty clear that they are not sentient, but I still don't eat oysters because, like, what if we are wrong kind of situation.
Well, obviously plants don't have sentience. That's silly.
Sorry?
I says obviously plants don't have sentience.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
That he said obviously plants don't have sentience, and that is really cool for you to say because a lot of people will bite the bullet and say that plants are sentient.
Yeah.
No, I'm a horticulturalist, so that's silly.
Yeah, you know that there's nobody in there. There's no experience in there, right?
No, not at all.
Well, most animals do have an experience, especially like fish and dogs and cows and pigs and chickens. They have an experience. They're individuals.
What is a fucking horticulture, some or other?
What's a horticulturist?
That's the one. Can't say the word. I'm retarded.
No, I've been working with plants and probably for many years now. Many years. Worked on a nursery. Worked on a wholesale tree nursery for 14 years, and now I work for a landscaping mob up here in Brisbane.
Very nice. When did you move from New Zealand?
14 years ago, I think.
Yeah, righto.
Are you in the army, mate? Are you in the corps?
Air Force.
Oh, nice. Are you vegan?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Maybe you
That's
can
cool,
tell
man.
us like a bit of an experience of being a vegan in Australia.
I don't know. You just go to the shop and. Honestly, I don't know. my missus does all the shopping. To be fair.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't
mate.
know,
What's
it's cool.
up, mate? Yeah, mate. What? Love these Aussies.
Well, you still go down the do you still go down the pub with mates and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm an alcoholic as much as the next Australian.
Good to hear.
Damn, this is where when two Aussies are talking to each other, this is where I totally lose the conversation. I don't understand what's happening.
Accents, eh? Accents.
And I've been to I've been to Australia and understood the accent of almost everybody, unless they got drunk, and then like I would lose the plot again. But it's like the fact that it comes through the microphone. I'm like, all right, guys, you have your conversation. I'm gonna take a pee.
Australians tend to talk very nasally, like it's all through the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you tend to just sort of add all these different words all at once. Like you join them all together. Like you see a bloke at work and hey, you go, you're right.
Act like you Kiwis don't do the same fucking thing.
Not at all, mate. Not at all. We speak the Queen's English. You speak convict English.
Want to go fishing?
Oh, mate, good. It's good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh.
Well, I might let you guys go. Yeah, I'm gonna go get a beer too.
Wait, I have a question for you before you go. How many more animals should be exploited and slaughtered for you until you make a change?
Oh, what's your question?
Well, that's a strong
You're in
one.
trouble now, mate. You're in trouble now.
I don't think I'm gonna change.
So you think you think it? Okay, let me ask you this: do you still think it's moral for you to exploit and slaughter innocent animals?
No, I don't think it's moral. No.
Okay, so at least you're recognizing that when you are choosing to consume animal products, you are acting immorally, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Okay,
Completely agree with that.
that's a start. That's a start. Will you then can you then do one thing just so that because I feel like we as animal rights activists have two jobs here. One is to get people to inform, and the other is to get people to change. And I feel like with you, since we couldn't get you to change, can we at least inform you? And can you just watch one documentary to know about the practices in animal agriculture to see if you're okay with them?
Yeah, so as I said, I was born in New Zealand on a farm and a sheep and cattle farm, so there's not much I haven't seen. But I'll have a look.
Yeah, it's called Dominion. It's on YouTube. It's just called Dominion, and it is actually filmed. A lot of it is filmed in Australia. So
Wait, have you ever been to a slaughterhouse, like a commercial slaughterhouse, culturalist?
Yeah, yep, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you enjoy watching animals being slaughtered?
I don't. No one enjoys it, but.
Well, you said you enjoy
I've had to do it
like
myself.
you enjoyed watching the fish struggle for their lives. So I'm just asking about that.
I don't enjoy watching them struggle for their lives. I enjoy the fight of the fish.
Yeah, that's struggling for their lives. They're literally struggling for that. That's what it is, right? Makes sense?
I guess.
Yeah. So did you, like you said, you didn't enjoy watching animals being slaughtered? What did you not enjoy about it?
Well, because it's a bit of a gruesome activity, I guess.
Can you go into details, please?
Or do you want me to tell you how I've killed sheep in the past?
Yeah.
No, maybe how you felt when you did it.
Yeah.
Or you actually want to know.
All of it, yeah, all of it. Just give me details, like gruesome, don't spare anything. All the details.
Okay. Well, I started helping the old man kill sheep when I was probably about 10, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And would get a ewe and would put it into the stocks, and then would shoot in the top of the head with a 22,
Mm-hmm.
and it would drop, and you'd get down, you cut its throat, cut off its head. I'd help the old man carry it into the shed. Would hang it up. You'd slice down its guts. You'd open all its guts out, allowing everything to spew out. You then do some little incisions around the tops of its feet, and that allows you to pull the hair off it, and you can skin it from there. And you can go from top to bottom, skin it all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
You make a few little incisions to cut the feet off, and then we let it hang for a day. Then you'd bring it inside and cut it up into pieces that you want, I guess, like the chops and the roasts and the.
And what about it did you not like? What about it did you not enjoy? You said, well, it's gruesome. What is that?
Oh, it was heavy.
Oh, so like your suffering is what you didn't like.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I did it from a very early age.
Mm-hmm.
I was very early age. I was helping the old man. I was helping him birth sheep because my arms were smaller, so I was always having to put my hand up the ewe if it was struggling to lamb, and I'd have to pull it all out.
Yeah.
So I was always doing that stuff from an early age. So it wasn't. I guess I was like desensitized from.
Yeah.
It's just animal agriculture.
Yeah.
How it was.
I always make the claim that like farmers' kids go through abuse. You just like confirmed it to me, frankly. I'm not I was born into a family who was slaughtering animals as well, right? I'm not talking from zero self-experience. I'm not a townie. I am now, but I used to be like living in something. It was technically a town, but it was kind of village-like. I think it's like totally child abuse to make kids do these violent acts to desensitize them to it. I still didn't make that word correctly, but that's all right. So, I think it's incredibly violent.
I don't think it's abuse. It allows us to see. I'm thankful for it. It allows us to see where our food comes from. It allows us to see that part of life.
Yeah, the slaughter part of life. You mean? That's not part of life, by the way.
Exactly, the slaughter part of life.
Yeah, that's not part of life. That's like an invented thing.
I'm gonna agree with old mate here. I grew up on a farm as well. I don't think it's abuse.
This is coming from a vegan.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? You're saying it's coming from a vegan. Both me and, I'm sorry, I forgot your name and I can't see it now. So both of us...
All good.
Yeah, both of us grew up on farm-like situations. And then we reflected on it, right? We actually thought, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? Is it moral? And then we came to the conclusion, no, it's not moral to kill animals for unnecessary food. Or for unnecessary stuff, I guess. And then we were like, whoa! And then we were like, Vortex, you're just asking to be like fucking... and then we were like, well, maybe we should stop doing the immoral act. And then we just stopped. And then we reflected on our past as well. So saying, well, you're a vegan, that's why you think it's child abuse. Yes, because we actually thought about it, right? You know what I mean?
I don't think it's abuse. I was agreeing with old mate.
Oh, so you don't think it's abuse? Okay, I guess.
Nah.
I'm the only one then.
Just to play devil's advocate on that one.
Why do you think it's not child abuse?
I don't know, it's just... It's how you grow up, like... It's not like I grew up on a sheep farm as well. It's not like my fucking dad was like, oh, you have to kill this fucking sheep or you have to do this or whatever. It's just like...
That doesn't explain why it's not abuse.
But, because I had, a choice and, because if I really didn't want to do it, I wouldn't have had to do it. But it is what it is,
Again, I don't see how that's not abuse.
Yeah.
I guess it boils down a little bit to how you feel about it, right? Because the first time I saw a dead animal being skinned alive, I was not vegan, I was a child. And I still remember having a weird feeling towards it. So it was nothing pleasant to watch in that sense. And was it abuse? I don't know. It was definitely a microaggression towards me, right? And in a sense, it was something that I didn't feel comfortable watching, yet I saw it, right? So if somebody forces you to do something like cut the throat of an animal or I don't know, collect the blood or chop them into pieces, whatever they ask you to do in that process, it is a form of putting you in a situation where you are not going to enjoy it. It is a bit abusive because, like, even if you do get desensitized as a child, right? Because people can react in two ways. They either get desensitized to the horrors, or they form some form of PTSD to it. So like if you didn't form the PTSD, that's okay. You got desensitized from it, but it's still
There's no middle
something that
option.
you didn't enjoy.
I'm sorry.
enjoy it doesn't mean it's like
there's no middle option. It's always just you're desensitized or you have PTSD.
Well, give us a third option.
What about
Neither of the two.
it's something that you don't enjoy doing, but you do have to eat?
Yeah, you have to eat. You can eat plants. You don't have to eat sentient animals with all the gore around it.
Maybe you don't have to anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So we are talking in the 21st century. Let's not look in the past. We are not talking to people in the past. We are talking people in the present.
Yeah, and even again, your account of a third option or more options. I mean, that wouldn't be how do you say it? It wouldn't be in favor for your position because even if you feel sad or depressed or whatever,
I haven't presented my position.
Yeah, then go ahead. Tell me your criterion. What third option is there?
Well, the subject is how does killing an animal make you feel? I think it should always make you feel bad in some way. There's no joy in killing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and if we, yeah, exactly. This is exactly what I anticipated. So, if that is the case, then why would you kill it? If it makes you feel worse, right? It makes you feel worse, and the animal as well. So, what is the benefit there then at all?
I can kill grass, and harvest vegetables, and kill them, and I don't feel bad doing that.
Please don't interrupt, please.
It's a conversation, and there's a lot of people.
Yeah,
here.
but
all right.
Yeah, I know, but I want to engage. So if you are being made worse off because of the experience that you went through, and the animal definitely as well, right? So this is not so much different than if you're being desensitized or you're getting PTSD. I mean, surely it is less bad, you maybe say, but you're still having a psychological cost, right? So how is this really of a net benefit to you if you're still experiencing negative feelings?
I experience negative feelings for a lot of things that do me good in the long run. Why should this one be unique?
It doesn't do you good, that's why.
Yeah, it doesn't. And it's not even necessary, right? And you're harming someone else as well in a non-significant way, in a significant way. It's non-trivial what you're doing, right? So if you want to torture yourself, yeah, you can do that, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. But like if you involve someone else that doesn't want to be treated like that, then yeah, spare them that and have respect for someone else as well, right? You can take your freedom and harm yourself, perhaps, but don't drag someone else into that.
No, of course, but I think the entire subject is a very complicated one, and I don't like it when people reduce it down to such a simple concept as it's either or. I really, it's a very common thing I see online. There's always some sort of dichotomy when really it's, everybody points this out, it's actually more of a spectrum on a lot of different things.
What's the spectrum?
Well, but bottom line is
complete.
Bottom line is
something
you
along the
either
lines
kill
of
an animal or you don't. Bottom line is it's not like a
Val, let him
dichotomy
finish.
between.
Let's
Yeah.
see what he thinks the spectrum is.
Well, I mean, there's multiple emotions. You have everything from the people that are outright psychopathic freaks that enjoy causing harm on others, and then there's the ones that completely have the disgust reaction to any particular action that they encounter. and this is true for everything, not just like the act of killing an animal for food. And there's a big difference between, like, obviously we shouldn't go out and like hunt animals for sport. That's absolutely, like, definitely don't do that. Even if you're somebody that does eat meat, you probably should object to the hunting of animals for sport. It's cruel and unnecessary. Whereas someone who eats meat would say, well, you do have to eat. And
but you don't have to eat animal products. You're conflating something. But there is like a conflation, because obviously what you said is trivially true, right? So you need to eat.
Right.
But the thing is, what you ultimately need is basically carbons. You need carbons or energy, calories. You don't need like the category of animal products. That's not necessary.
You don't need any animal proteins to perform any any single cell function. You don't need omega-3s.
No.
You don't need omega-6s.
Well, hold on.
You need all those things, but you can get them from plants.
Hold on. You're back into the question. I mean, you're assuming already that it is only found in animal products like omega-3s. Omega-3 is not originally found only in fish. The primary source is microalgae. I mean, if we're talking about the preformed DHA and EPA, that is. I mean, the precursor, the precursor alpha-linolenic acid, that is found in
exclusively in plants,
Yeah, exactly. So that is exclusively found.
But are those plants the most efficient source?
Yeah.
Because
they are if you.
They're the only source.
What do you mean efficient? Yeah, like I fail to understand. So if you think, like, let's imagine, because when you say efficient, you imagine that you take 100% of a certain quantity and your body absorbs 80% of it. But let's imagine that would be the case. That's not necessarily the case, but let's imagine that would be the case. Couldn't you just consume a little bit more and not exploit and slaughter an innocent sentient being in the process?
It might be possible. But look,
it's probable.
Let's make it an analogy for a second. Let's say plants are like wood, and you can burn wood for fuel, but coal is better than wood. And let's say coal is plants, right? It's compressed wood and everything, and it burns a lot better. I know that's a flawed analogy, but I know. But it's like, that's kind of how it has to be looked at. If, for example, in fish, you can get significantly more omega-3s if you eat, let's say, a pound of salmon versus if you eat like 4 pounds of seaweed.
But let me just first of all correct your analogy. Your analogy would be correct.
Sure, please.
You said
all analogies are flawed in some ways. Go for it.
Yeah, no worries. So what I mean to is to draw attention exactly on what the issue is, right? Because you seem to be focusing on a certain perspective, and you seem to be forgetting the perspective of the victim. So the analogy that you made between wood and coal would actually be a better analogy would be between burning wood would give you a certain efficiency, and then burning a dog would give you considerably more efficiency. Should you burn a dog if it gives you more efficiency?
Okay. The way to answer that without being an absolute monster is to realize that you have to prioritize yourself over others. Ultimately, if I have to die so that something else can live, I would prefer to live.
Yeah, but again,
we're not comparing this with a human.
But you're assuming again that it is necessary for you to consume animal products. This is like you're stipulating that, and this is under contention whether this is actually necessary. And we are the reason, or we are proof that it is not necessary, right? It's not necessary to.
Does it work on a large scale?
Yeah, for sure it would. Yeah, it would. It would. Yeah, of course it would.
Well, because I mean, from what I've seen, like I've done some research. I'm not claiming to be the ultimate expert on it, but I mean, there's always been like this thing that bugs me, like the rainforest and the soy and the stuff. Like they.
I have just a thing for that. I have just a thing for that.
Please, I've been very interested to know if there's an answer for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know why we do so much deforestation? Do you know what we use most of the soy for food for?
Well, it's always going to be animals.
Yep.
So exactly. So you hit the nail on the head. So you're right. We do deforestation to grow some soy. We also do deforestation to make
It's
animal
more than
farms.
a little bit of soy, but
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, it's like 80% of it.
It's a lot.
No,
It was
yeah,
concerning.
the point
but
is that most
the
of the soy that we grow is
yeah,
exactly, yeah.
most of the soy that we grow for food is soy that we use as animal feed.
Okay. Huh.
So the reason why there is so much deforestation, then you would say that it is because of animal agriculture.
I'd have to double check that one. That's a good point if it's true. I'm not questioning
look up
that
the
you believe
biggest
it's true.
reason.
I don't know.
Sure, yeah. Look up the
thinking
biggest
mostly of Brazil.
I'll send some links in the chat, but also just you
Okay.
can look up yourself like what's the number one reason the Amazon rainforest is getting deforested.
But can I address something really important?
That's something else. Yeah.
Address something really important. If we do find out that meat or animal products are really bad for the environment, is that something that's going to make you ethically think about not consuming?
Hello?
Oh, anyone? Hello?
It cut out there. I think you were trying to say something along the lines of, if we found out that animal products were actually bad for the environment, would that give like the typical meat eater more incentive not to consume animals?
I'm asking you, as in the individual. You.
Oh.
Not the typical meat eater, but you. Ask yourself this question. So if it were better for the environment for you to be on a plant-based diet, would you consider adopting a plant-based diet?
You'd have to convince me, but
Yeah, sure. Let's
maybe.
go. Oh, what do you mean maybe? I thought you care about the environment. Why wouldn't you change your habits to accommodate the environment?
Well, you're.
Do you not care about the environment?
No. Don't try and set up traps.
No,
like
that's
that.
what I'm
unfair.
asking. Why maybe?
I do care about the environment. I do think, however, that the subject of the climate is been reduced to like it's all about one particular thing or another, and I think it's way more complicated than that, which results in a lot of, I would say, misguided beliefs about it. Like it's all about carbon dioxide. Well, there's other stuff too.
No, yeah.
It's not just
Here we
that
go.
one.
So
and
let's.
it's very arrogant to assume that it's just humanity.
No.
Like,
we're not assuming anything. We're not assuming anything.
Okay.
We have evidence for it. So if you look at my screen, I'm sharing a screen, right?
Let me look.
Yeah, there you go. So this is land use, right? The green one. But then this is other stuff as well. So the animal feed, the processing, the transport, retail, the packaging, everything is considered. All the chain, all the environmental chain is considered. Not just greenhouse gas, not just greenhouse gas emissions from one place. It's from all the places. And then we're going to talk about land as well. So if you look at the top.
How much... Okay, can I interrupt for a second? How much of this is the total effect on what is the environment itself? Because I remember there being like this big deal in like America about they were worried about plastic straws or something, and then I looked up and it's like it's 0.00 something % of all of the pollution in the world. So
yeah, so this is comparing all the food to all the other food and which food is more environmentally degrading.
What what he's asking is how much of it is greenwashing, right? So that issue was to do with plastic pollution, right? And straws don't make.
In this case, I'm asking.
This is greenhouse gases, right? So greenhouse gases, like
how
this
much
is how.
of. Yeah, I'm not asking about what it's about. I understood that part. I'm asking how much of the problem as a total is this? Is this 5% of climate change, or is it like?
I think it's like 20. I think like agriculture as a total is like 27%. I think.
Okay.
Something like that. Am I correct, Silva?
That's enough that we should care.
Yeah,
okay.
it ranges. There's different sources.
That's what matters.
So let me put it this way, because I think you'll understand it better this way. So I think one of the biggest impact you can make as an individual, obviously there's, for the environment, there's several changes that need to happen systemically, especially by governments, which are changes that you can protest for, but you can't really make changes there. But the biggest change that you as an individual can make is adopt a plant-based diet. And that is the biggest thing that you can do to lower your footprint.
Yeah. So
it might be. I mean, I already use public transportation and everything, so it's kind of like I already have a very low footprint.
Yeah, and now you have the chance to reduce it
crazy,
like by
actually,
another 20 or plus %. How about that?
Well, 20% if I was doing all of that other stuff. At this point, reducing that would be like reducing it another, you know.
Reducing your footprint by 20% doesn't sound good to you?
But also, let me put it this way, because it's very difficult to assess this based on, it depends on each individual. But what you will know for sure if it comes to your footprint, what you can do is, if you right now, if you're consuming animal products, both meat and dairy products, then by adopting a plant-based diet, you would be reducing your your footprint, not just carbon, because it's a lot of other stuff. You would be reducing your emissions footprint, which comes from your food. So your food emission footprint would be reduced to a quarter. Do you understand that?
But isn't like the emissions for like my phone that I buy already like as that
Maybe
much
it
as
is.
well?
Maybe
Because I
it
mean,
is,
like
but
if you have a smartphone, you've already exploited like people in middle of nowhere Africa.
Whoa, that's
for
a
the
different
rare
thing.
earth
We're talking
minerals
about
and stuff.
emissions.
I
That's
know,
a different thing.
but it's like you can't focus on every single thing is the problem
No,
here.
but
And I think we're getting away from the original topic
Yeah,
anyway.
you can. The point is that
Which
you
is
can
fun.
focus. Hold on. The point is that you can focus on the really big things, right? Yeah.
Right,
And what you
like
eat is a
getting your food
really, really
locally
big thing.
instead of importing it from who knows where is a significant
No,
improvement.
that's a tiny. So if you look at this graph, right? So transport is this pink color. See how tiny it is? So the food transportation is almost nothing in greenhouse gases. Almost nothing. You can barely see it. The most thing is like the methane emissions on the farm and the amount of land use. Those are the big contributors to the greenhouse gases in your food production.
Sure, but
Yeah.
it's more than just climate change now. Once I say that I'm getting my food locally, it's also about supporting the local other humans.
Yeah, but supporting the local other humans.
This is why I say the issue is significantly more complicated, because ultimately,
It's not. Look.
The reason people are vegans is usually because of some sort of moral or emotional reason.
No,
That was the
listen.
argument I was hearing at the beginning.
You're going into
every single time. Listen, every single time you make a point, we address it, and then you move on to a different point, right? Let's just. Yeah. Okay, but can you acknowledge before you
The
move on?
conversation
Like,
goes on an unlimited amount of time.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
even though that might how conversation might normally go, we would appreciate if you like acknowledge, right? You said that you think veganism isn't as good for the environment, right? We showed you that it is much better. It's something that's one of the
I
best
didn't say that it
as an
wasn't good
individual.
for the environment. The question was asked to me: would it help impact my decision to? Or
Okay, so
change
yeah,
my
either
mind?
way,
And I
we
said,
showed
would
you
help.
it does. We showed you it does, right? We also showed you that all of the concerns about like transport, like local, those are misplaced as well, right? You haven't acknowledged these, right? You just move on to a different point.
Yeah.
No, I said that transport costs are once we get into transport, like getting local food, the impact is not necessarily on climate change. I was pointing out that the issue was more about supporting not the big industrial agriculture system.
You can support your local plant-based. Look, you can support your local plant-based farmers. They also really need your help. You can just do that.
All of my local sources include both.
Well, you can just not support the animal abusers. You can support the people who don't like or try to eliminate abuse of animals, at least.
Yeah. So, by the way, the reason why we got into the environment is because one of your concerns was that is it sustainable for everybody to adopt a plant-based diet? And I think we've made the point pretty clear that it is sustainable for everybody to adopt a plant-based diet. Now, the question comes back to you, which is essentially the same thing. Every time you make a choice, every time you consume something, whether that is food, clothing, whatever else you're buying, if you're faced with a choice, one that exploits and slaughters an innocent sentient being or an animal, and one that does not do that, which one would you choose?
If I had the luxury to choose, I would choose the one that was less morally objectionable.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think you don't have the luxury?
Basic economics.
Yeah, what is that? What does that mean? That's very general.
The inability to afford a better option.
sorry, if I prove to you that a vegan diet is cheaper than the omnivorous diet, would you change your mind?
Man, I wish you the best of luck with that. I've looked around here. Anything that's labeled vegan is at least 30% more expensive than its counterpart.
Sorry, are beans more expensive than beef?
Yeah. So wait a second, VPM. So the comparison that VPM is making there is that maybe some products in certain areas, some products like you think of plant-based meats and plant-based cheeses are more expensive than their animal-based counterparts. But overall, the whole diet will not consist only of those, but rather of plenty other stuff like pasta, rice, beans, lentils, chickpeas. Especially if you want to adopt a healthy plant-based diet, you would be adopting a whole foods plant-based diet, which essentially involves more whole foods. And so none of these mock meats. You can still have them from time to time. And if you do that, overall, your diet will be cheaper by between 10% and 30%. And this is proved by empirical data.
Yep.
We have anecdotal data. Like I also have noticed that my parents who have had some financial issues have also noticed that. So it's regardless, it's not something like if you're going to just compare one product to another, yeah, you might make a case, but if you compare it overall, it's not the case.
Versa, if I may ask, if you don't mind answering, are you from Germany?
Yes.
Yeah, well, okay, I noticed. Yeah, so this is actually not the case.
It's really rough to pull stuff like this off here, and the economy here is
What the hell are you
basically
talking
fragmented.
about?
I'm also from Germany. Which is why I'm asking. It's not so expensive. It's actually a bit more nuanced. So when it comes down to these exclusive vegan products, it depends. It depends on the brand. So there are, like with meat and animal products, there are some brands which, how do you say, they want to have like an exclusive price, right? But there are also some other brands which are considerably cheaper, right? So like, let's say Alpro plant-based milk costs about €2, and then you have like off-brand discounter plant-based milk for under €1. So it depends.
Right.
The same also for fake meat as well. You can find fake meat or like these mock meats for already €2.50 or so. But if you buy Beyond, you will pay €4.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so there you go. So you're going vegan now. I think we addressed every single question that you had, every single statement that you made.
What you've done is address the beginning, because in the space of 20 minutes I would need a lot more.
Well,
and of course, as you point, I'm in Germany and it's 1 o'clock, so my lunch break is officially over.
Okay.
But I would love to talk more about it, and I would be significantly more researched, because me showing up and being only semi-informed is not helpful for me or you, because we have half of a good conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we tagged you in the chat. We put some. We tagged you in the chat and we put some links up so you can look at Veganism is Expensive, and you can look around this site with whichever questions you have, and you're always welcome back to ask more questions.
I would love to be coming back. No worries.
All right.
Good. Can you also promise me you'll watch a documentary regarding this? The documentary is called Dominion. And just to kind of see what animals go through, because we've been discussing some scientific
facts. Isn't that the one about
facts.
industrial farming?
It's about it includes industrial farming also, yes, but it's about kind of all farming practices, including fishing. Just give that a watch, so at least you have a base, kind of know what animals go through, because this isn't just about you or your experience. Veganism is about the experience of the animals.
Yeah, and I mean, that's always one of those things. It depends on how much a person thinks an animal is worth compared to themselves. Anyway, like I said, I really do have to go.
What do you mean compared to yourself?
Otherwise
Nobody's asking you to die. Hold on, nobody's asking you to die for this.
Hey, I'm 2 minutes over lunch. I've got to go.
Yeah, let's go.
I will love to talk again.
All right.
Toodaloo.
Bye.
And just to be clear for everybody, the comparison was never made between yourself and an animal. That's not the comparison. That's actually a wrong comparison to make. The comparison is between exploiting and slaughtering an innocent animal or not.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the comparison.
Anybody else? Next victim. I'm joking. You're
What if
not
I
a
say-
victim. Let's not victimize you.
What if I say that being vegan is the only way to respect animals? Does everybody here agree with that?
I'm not even sure that I feel that respect is a bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of a general word, but you know, it's a good conversation starter, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good conversation starter.
Well, you can't. I mean, ultimately, you can't respect an animal if you kill them. Really.
Exactly. So
Because
so
you
I guess-
disrespect one of because you disrespect one of the most vital interests they can have. Right. So.
I guess you could say you can be vegan and not respect animals, but you cannot respect animals if you're not vegan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, did I not? Read all of those things.
Hey Jill, are you vegan? Oh, Jill says I don't agree. Do you want to talk voice or do you just want to chat in the chat? You can try to practice your English if you want.
Yeah, we will use simple words, and we will talk slower if you want to.
Yeah, we can adapt.
You know, sometimes we use jargon.
Then
Maybe I'm not.
I can talk. Hello, people.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, a little too much, but I want to talk with you, but I don't. I only know my name is not enough.
Sorry, what's the claim?
Yeah. I can't talk. Sorry.
It's okay. What's the claim?
I regret.
She doesn't have enough vocabulary.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right. Do
It's
you know
okay,
what vegan
you sound
is?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know many things about it, but in my language.
Ah, what's language? Which language is that? Maybe we have somebody talking
French.
French. Anybody talking French here? Anybody speaks French?
Too much to translate. It's.
I know how to
not
say in
possible.
good French, je ne parle pas français.
Ah, awesome.
Nice. Good begin.
Thank you.
Oh, I wish
Croissant.
Patrick was here. Patrick speaks French, but they got a job, so they can't speak here.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day I can.
Yeah, awesome. Come back to us when you feel more able, I guess.
I mean, I could try a little bit, but it's not going to be a
Nah.
profound conversation. I mean,
Now let's.
Well, I can talk French.
Who's that?
Yeah, but it's too much to translate for other people. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard work.
Yeah.
Well, I can speak French, so if you wanna.
Well.
Are you vegan
No,
though,
no,
Greasy
it's
Chicken?
Too much.
Yeah, are you vegan?
Well,
Greasy chicken?
technically, I'm vegetarian, but if I prepare myself a meal, it will be 100% vegan. But on suppers, it's my family that cooks the meals, so sometimes it will be vegetarian, but I'm against any form of exploitation of animals.
Awesome. That's. I'm
So-
sorry that's your situation right now, but I think your mentality is cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that being vegetarian is enough for the animals?
No.
Oh,
No, well, he said he's against. Oh, sorry, they. I'm not sure what your gender is. So they said they're against exploitation of animals. They're vegan. They just can't practice it right now, right?
Yeah, I live with my parents. I'm only 14, so.
But let me challenge that a little bit. I'm curious.
All
So, if your parents, whenever I meet kids who say they can't go vegan because of their parents, I ask this question. So, if your parents all of a sudden, you don't like seen as how you're not making the decisions, all of a sudden they start eating dogs. They were convinced by
Yeah.
somebody online that they want to eat dogs or cats, because I see you have a cat photo there. Or they start
Yeah.
eating cats. Would you participate in that if they put a dead cat on the table? We're not like a cat meat on the table.
No.
Or cat milk.
No, I wouldn't.
And what would happen in that situation? Would you die or would you find something else to eat?
I would find something else.
Okay, so then it seems like if your parents do exactly the same thing for a different animal, then you
Yeah.
wouldn't have the same reaction. So why is that?
Well, I feel like, let's say, I don't really eat eggs or anything. I just sometimes when they serve, I don't know, a salad and there's some Parmesan or something, it'll be like probably the limit I could eat, because I find like cheese or dairy like very difficult to digest. But yeah, it doesn't make just thinking about it. It doesn't really make sense. Preferring one over another.
Yeah, so if you still have some form of choice, even if it is a little bit more difficult, just consider thinking maybe you could be making some choices yourself. Maybe you don't have
Yeah, I
to be
know.
under the umbrella of your parents' choices.
Yeah, but it's like complicated because my parents want me to stay flexible, because when I go on at someone's house, they find it already complicated preparing a different meal for me because I'm vegetarian.
Yeah.
So like they want me to stay a little bit flexible. So if I don't know, they serve pizza or something, I can still eat it.
Yeah, I guess
Do
I
you
don't want to
think
push
it's
it too
harder
much because
for? Do you think it's harder for the guests to make you vegan food, or it's harder for the animals?
What was that?
Do you think it's more harder for these guests to make you vegan food separately, or for yourself to just bring vegan food from home, or is it harder for the animals?
It's harder for the animals.
Yeah. I went vegan when I was 14 as well. I had some
Nice.
I had a difficulty as well, and like similar kind of stuff, especially when I was guest. But
Yeah.
that's the thing, right? We don't compromise our morals on this kind of thing. Just because they might not be able to understand it doesn't mean they shouldn't respect your principles, right?
Yeah.
If there was a vegetarian at the party,
Yeah.
they would understand because it's more common. But
Yeah.
back in the day, like maybe 34 years ago, even vegetarianism was like, oh, she's vegetarian, that's annoying, common. But that changed because enough people went vegetarian, and it's the same thing with veganism. And if you explain
Well-
properly, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, well, like I wouldn't agree like on the point where you said people now respect more vegetarians
No,
because
well, they
let's say at
respect them
school.
enough. It's more accepted, right? Like they wouldn't
Yeah, it's more
give as much.
accepted. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't want to. We don't obviously being a child is a little bit more difficult. I didn't start up being vegan as a child. Silver said that they did, but I think like what I just want to emphasize is if you can make certain choices, maybe make different choices. Just think about it. Like that's why I challenged it a little bit. I don't want to push you in any direction, right? You're obviously in a different situation than most people are.
Yeah.
Can you
But
maybe
if there's a
translate
will, there's a
for?
way.
Can you maybe translate for Jill anyways? Maybe Jill can state in French
Yeah, sure.
what she thinks is the issue, and then we
Yeah,
can
sure.
address it. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Jill, if you are still with us, maybe
Yes,
they can translate. Yeah.
I can understand you, just I can't talk.
Yeah, that's why
You
Chicken
can
can
say it in
translate.
French.
No, it's too much. I just think it's less meat is also good. I don't like the extreme thing.
Yeah, but do you think it's more extreme to exploit and kill animals
It's
or
the
to not?
system actual is the problem. For example, a chicken give close from 1 egg per day, and it can become a little chicken. Oh, it's too much.
Gilles,
I don't know.
j'ai une question.
Yes, you can ask question in English. Don't worry. I can.
Okay. Do you think it is possible to kill an animal in a fair way?
I think
une manière humaine.
we have to respect them when they live, and offer them a better life as we can. I'm a farmer child. My parents was farmer. I don't know. Sorry. And
but what do you think is actually one of the biggest interests that an animal has? Like, what do you think is one of the biggest wishes? Do you know, maybe? Or I can also help you out if you want to.
I don't. I'm not sure to understand, but I believe in reincarnation, and I accept if I become a chicken or other to be killed by humans. I think it's a part of life, as I hear before. Here, we can't say to the lion, "Don't eat meat," and.
But Jill, that's a bit disingenuous, because what you're saying is that you would accept it if somebody took your life to eat you. Is that really true?
Yeah.
So
I'm not. I'm special.
Wait, so you think that do you know who Jeffrey Dahmer was?
I only know the name. Wait. Explain to me why you tell about him.
Yeah. So Jeffrey Dahmer was an American who hunted people down, killed them, and then ate them.
Okay, Kira. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that what Jeffrey Dahmer did is okay?
No. Okay, I see what you mean.
So
Yeah,
pretty
so then
low.
why would...
Because you don't need
Well, it's
it.
not. Yeah, well, the reason why I ask you this is because you said you would be okay. You said so Universe East. You have to wait for a second because Jill. The reason why I asked this
what
question.
she said is she believes in reincarnation, and if he came back as a
Your mic is incredibly bad, and we are in the middle of conversation. Please fix your mic, and we'll talk to you later. Okay?
So the reason why I asked this question, Jill, is because you said you would accept it if somebody killed you for optional food, right? So if Jeffrey Dahmer killed you for if you were one of the victims of Jeffrey Dahmer, then would you put it in your will or something? Like, would you find it inappropriate if the government would put Jeffrey Dahmer in jail if they killed you and ate you?
It's over. How? It's too difficult to answer in English. I understand what you mean, and I agree. It's Oh, sorry, I can't in English.
No, Chicken can translate. Say it in French.
Yeah, say it in French.
Évidemment, ça contredit les principes moraux de ne pas tuer des humains.
Okay, so it contradicts the moral principles of killing when you kill a human.
Okay, but you said that you're okay. You said you're okay if somebody kills and eats you.
Yes, when I become a chicken. It's not the same for me.
Can I help with the language barrier a little bit? Why are humans so special?
I don't think that. To me, all species are equal. I don't know if it's. I respect Moustique and I don't know.
I understand. Like, if you're saying like, well, what I'm trying to ask, it's why kill chicken but not human? You say, you know, if you think human is special, don't kill human. Why?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It's
maybe
to me,
if you don't
human
know,
killing
maybe
human isn't.
maybe if you don't know, maybe you should stop paying for the killing until you know. Maybe you find out one day what is the difference, and then.
For example, for me, I see a chicken. Chicken wants to live, and I don't harm the chicken. That's easy.
Yeah, I understand.
But when you buy chicken, when you buy products from animals, you say that it's okay to do something bad to them.
But I can also put it like this, like you know, there's genetical engineering, we can nowadays we can do genetic manipulation, right? So if we would imagine that I would be doing genetic manipulation on my body and I would become somehow I consider it superior to other humans, right? Would that mean that I have the right to do whatever I want to humans for optional products?
Yeah. I don't know.
I would consider myself special, by the way. I would consider myself a superior and special, and I would justify killing others simply because I am superior and special.
I don't think that.
No, so if you don't think that you're superior and special to a chicken, then why say that if you were in the position of a chicken, you would accept being killed for optional products, but now how you're in the position of a human, you wouldn't accept being killed for optional products?
So what we're kind of saying is, like, if you don't think, well, if you believe that everyone is special to themselves, we should not kill each other. We should not kill chickens. We should not kill pigs.
I don't. To me, a kill is not. I don't know. It's too. As an Indian, I don't know. Fuck.
That's fine. We're here to learn as well.
Yeah, I have to learn English before to.
Well, say in
Great,
French, but translate again.
C'est vraiment gentil. Je voulais dire que je pense un peu comme la culture indienne américaine de base, que je sais pas je sais pas comment dire. Je sais pas si et je stresse un peu qu'il y ait 20 personnes qui m'écoutent.
Non, t'inquiète.
Je pense qu'on peut tuer et respecter la vie.
Okay, so she thinks you can respect someone and kill someone at the same time.
Oh, so can you ask?
Est-ce que tu peux évoquer les Indiens d'Amérique et leur culture?
So she has a Indian American culture. So yeah.
If you understand what I mean.
I understand, but like, if I asked you, and so Joe, here's a funny question: can I respect my brother and kill him?
Sous frère, the only thing I know about French.
Yeah, I understand. It's.
Wow, just boasting about my French knowledge.
Yeah, so what about the chip guy or post-mortem? If I respect them, should I also kill them?
Oh no, don't kill me, please.
You mix the morality and it's.
I just want to kind of explain to you, the veganism is about morals, right? All I'm saying, all we're saying, is we don't have to kill each other. We don't have to kill, animals at all.
You're right. I think animals are not equal than human. I don't think I'm special, but I think every species have un rôle Je sais pas comment
Yeah.
on dit.
Yeah, but like, do you think that? So I understand what you mean, but it's not about who you put value on, right? Because if I put no value on you or a member of your family, does that mean that I have the right to kill you or a member of your family because I put no value on you?
With your before example, if it exists, it exists a species supérieur. Est-ce que tu peux m'aider pour supérieur, s'il te plaît, Gilchid Chicken?
C'est superior. C'est la même.
Ok,
c'est la
merci.
même, ouais.
As I don't know, a vampire, for example, I think they can eat human.
And would you say it's moral for a vampire to eat a human being?
Yes, because it's wild wolves. I don't know how to say.
Okay.
Here's a. Oui.
So
Just human and human don't have to kill them. I don't know. Sorry for my English. Really.
So I have a question for you. So what you're saying is that, let's say a bear attacks a member of your family. Would you find what the bear did okay?
If we are.
Yeah, and on that note, guys, I'm gonna bounce for now. I might come back later, maybe record some of the conversations. But Chip is alive, so you can, guys, go just to his channel. Let me retrieve that link if you don't see it already. Give me a sec. Mute tab, so it doesn't like hard on your ears. So you can go there. I'll put a link in the chat in a second. Arian, sorry. Can you come back? Can you not disappear after this? I'm live often, and if you have questions and stuff like that, about esoteric shit, and I'm amazing with esoteric shit. But please don't disappear. Stay around, because I think your moral position leads you to be vegan. So I want you to stick with us for a little bit, because if you have questions, it would be easier for you to reach the correct moral conclusion for yourself, and it would be easier for you to execute it. So take the action on it. So please come back. You're always welcome here. And this is the link, guys. See you later. Bye. Thank you.